They be going. Oh, shoot. Number. I forgot. Wait. All right. I don't like that it makes you do that. Otherwise, you can't go live. Toby, how we doing?
Oh, great. Quite the intro. I like it's back.
That's right. Welcome. That's right. Well, welcome back to Judging Bouncing Balls. We are officially back for this week. Hopefully you can jump on and participate, but we got some fun stuff to talk about tonight. Otherwise, how are you doing?
Doing great. Another exciting weekend of sport ball on the pitch, as they call it.
Yes, sport ball.
Yeah, so we came off our first week, like we talked about, with 2-0 in the State Cup. And so that meant we played Saturday. We played Elmbrook, which we needed to not lose by, 4? I think according to the goal differential, we were in pretty good shape. So
Yes.
we end up winning that game. What was the final at? 2-0? 1-0?
Thought we had 3.
3? No. Was it 3? No, 4.
Oh, you're right. I think it was right. I think it was 2. I don't remember. We won.
I don't remember. They all kind of blend. And then
where's Joe?
right. And then then we started the tournament, as I told Macy, was you go through pool play 3-0, but then the tournament starts on Sunday with the semifinals. And if you lose that game, it's very disappointing. That's a disappointing loss, because if you dominate your pool and then you have to jump brackets and you play the second seed of the other bracket, and then North Shore came out. Now, we've never really had issue with North Shore, but it's always that what if, and they came out firing, and they made it 80 minutes on fire. And then, so we scored early. We scored right away in all 4 games so far, which has been great. And then we seemed to lose some steam. Now we had one of the young ladies go down with a collarbone. At least we thought it might have been broken. We had a hamstring. We've got an ankle injury. We've got a ACL knee injury on the team. And then we had a girl with a knee problem that was talking about an MRI that came out of the woodwork and said she was going to play, and she played on Sunday, and she actually had the game-winning goal, which was fantastic. So we were down to like 1 sub.
But other than that, we were completely healthy.
Completely fine. Completely fine. And when you play 80 minutes of soccer, and then I like the golden goal, somebody called it, where it's like hockey. Hockey, when you win, you put it in the net, the game's over. But in soccer, you play 15 minutes, have a halftime, and then another 15 minutes, and you play all minutes. So you play an extra 30 minutes on top of 80. Quick math, that is 110 minutes. I wrote that down. And at the end of the day, we end up scoring in the first 8 minutes of overtime, and then you hang on. And then you kind of try to score, but you're kind of just try not to give up a goal, because then you go to shootout. So that was fun. That was, and then my phone died, and then you had to pick up the slack on the broadcast. So
hey, it was an adventure, and we had some great. I mean, Kata, if you saw the picture on the Loons Facebook, had the amazing save. saved the game. I mean, just we still don't even know how she did it. The shot by Paul was, but yeah, I mean, everybody was just pulling together and doing amazing stuff, and they walked out of there with a big time win. So against a team that was really determined to upset us. So I thought it was a really good win for the Loons.
Yeah, and now we've earned the right to play next Saturday in the State Cup championship game, 11:30 down in Appleton at Shields Park or whatever it's called now. We get to SC Wave again. Now we played SC Wave the second game of the tournament. We beat them 3-1. So you can throw that out the door. But
Yep.
that'll be a very good game. And supposedly we are back healthy. We have one girl still that's day to day, one of our defenders. So hopefully she makes a recovery and can give us a solid game. So
Yeah.
I think we're expecting a pretty big crowd too.
Yeah, it should be a big crowd, and honestly, at this point with the Wave, we don't even know what team to expect. And that's, the first game we played them, it wasn't the team that we played the last time 3-1, and now there's rumors on the street that they might be another team because maybe they're pulling in people from other campuses and different. So it's like you don't even know at this point. So who knows how the game's going to go? Who knows what we're going to see? But we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a really fun matchup. I think there's a decent amount on the line, and not just State Cup, but just pride and everything else, which is pretty cool. So it should be a pretty fun game.
Yeah, plus our club hosts, right? I mean, we host all the State Cup and the President's Cup. So we had talked about the start of our tournament for our club didn't go as planned. So as we continue to move on, the club was really doing a great job of supporting us. The girl, I shouldn't say us; they don't care about us, but the kids and free parking this Saturday at the. So you have no excuse. If your excuse was pay to park, it's over with. Our leader Eric said,
Right.
"We don't need any more money. Welcome." You think
Hey,
they'll have
the
a tip
parking you
jar?
already paid for, it's free.
That's my problem. So we paid to park for all 3 weeks, and the farther you go in the tournament, the cheaper it gets. The cheaper it gets to park, right? Because you divide your $45 over 3 weekends, and now it's free. So I saved like $2.50 by buying the big pass.
I'm not sure why I bought that third ticket. I still don't understand.
That's all right. For the good of the club. For the good of the club.
Anyways, it's all good. We are excited about it. It's going to be a fun weekend. Should be an exciting one, and hopefully you can make it out and see us play at 11:30. And then if you got some time, there's other games too going on. So a lot of good stuff happening on Championship Saturday, the granddaddy of them all.
Right. And we'll dive into a little later. I want to talk about that wave and their multiple personalities they're bringing. So Paul right away getting after Kimberly saying they have to pay. I don't think that's true, but if there is a K on the car, be careful, right?
Hey, I
Yeah.
don't
So
even
the
think
girls
Amherst
practice
comes over,
tonight.
so
No, I don't think. Do we have anybody in our club from Amherst?
no. We're as close as
Is
they
that a
get.
bad thing? Should we
No, actually,
should we be
tell you
recruiting
what,
Amherst?
there's a couple girls over in Amherst. They're twins. They're pretty good players. I think they're 07s though, but they were pretty dang good soccer players. They could help us. But
Yeah.
oh well.
Challenge accepted. Yeah. You watch, and the thing about playing all these state cups and playing state teams is you watch these girls grow, right? We had some girls early on that were played for their clubs that were really good, and then they kind of tapered down, and then some of the other girls really picked up. So it's fun to watch the
Yeah.
progression, not only of our girls but the other girls, and we get to broadcast the games live, so we talk about players that we see multiple times, and we have the drum of the day. It's one of our things that we decide early. It's the girl that we're going to beat constantly, so we give her the moniker of the drum of the day. So it's kind of like stat of the day, but Dan Patrick, but we're drum of the day. So We should
Very
probably
professional of us.
yeah, oh yeah, picking on a 15-year-old young lady because we feel we could take her even though we can't.
No, we can't.
Well,
But it makes us
we
feel
don't.
good. So,
What? Why else get out of bed? You know?
that's right. Hey, I told
So
everybody at school, they're always like, oh, you guys, you always make fun of us. I'm like, the only reason that being a teacher is redeemable is making fun of kids. I mean, it is. You got to bully
100%.
kids.
Otherwise, they get the upper hand, and then they
That's
come
right.
at you. There's a movie 1984 back in the day where the kids rose up and started killing people. We don't need that anymore.
That's right.
Yeah,
Isn't that Lord of the Flies?
maybe. No, I forget the movie name, but it was pretty good. But yeah, so it's an
All right.
exciting weekend. I'm looking forward to it. It's already Thursday tomorrow. Um,
It's crazy.
yeah, one more night of actually I talked to Joe. This is and I think you were sitting there. This is our last game at Shields Park till probably August or September.
That's crazy, but that is probably true.
Yeah, because we go from State Cup next week. The following week we play in following week. Yeah, we play
Yeah,
in Milwaukee,
Uline. Yep.
and then we go to National Pro in Florida. National Pro somewhere if we do that, if we make it. Probably another National Pro, then probably a Midwestern thing. We ain't doing that. And then high school, right? High school kicks
Right.
in when? Early March?
Yeah. Yeah. Mid to late March, I believe, is when the season officially opens. Don't get an early jump
Yeah.
on it, Bayport.
Is there rules about that?
Yeah. Sinners.
Pierce, the Pierce are practicing. They post on their Facebook.
Well,
Eric said this summer shootouts
captain's
pushed
practice.
back 1 week this year. So that is correct. If we play in the summer shootout, but Eric, we've never played in the summer shootout because we've been in regionals. Because
That's right.
when when you win, you go big time. Even though we've
We're
never done well in
intending to be
regionals.
back. Yes, we intend to go back to regionals.
Yeah, last year we did not win State Cup. Probably a bad call by the refs, but we ended up winning our league, right? So we made it because we won our league.
That's right. Hey, maybe we get it back this year. Win State
Oh,
Cup,
and there,
get back.
Paul did some research. Galaxy's moving somewhere else. See if I could dial that up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we might not be facing them anymore. Well,
That's kind of a
okay,
bummer. They're a fun team because they're good.
let's dive into this. We don't have the kids or the horsepower, right, to have multiple teams.
Yep.
I shouldn't say it. We have a premier or an elite. Is elite better than premier?
I don't know.
What are we? Okay, we're here, and our next team is right below us. Right? There's not. I mean, there's very good players on that team, but they're more
Yep.
of a state level style team because some kids don't want to travel and whatever. So we're starting to play these big clubs where like Galaxy has a top super duper team, and then they got a second super team, and then they got like a third, fourth, and fifth team. But they're all on the roster. So it's just like it's premier and then elite.
Thank you,
Is that
Paul.
how it should be?
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, elite, pretty elite.
You think elite would be kind of higher, but whatever. That's fine.
Yeah. Like if you're a Navy SEAL, you're an elite SEAL, not a premier SEAL. Whatever. So we're
Whatever.
getting to the point here. Is SC Wave carries 38 girls on their roster, I'm told. Something like that. So they brought a team up here the week before State Cup, and we just throttled their E64 team 14-0. They were terrible. Absolutely terrible. And I think their effort was bad. Probably super nice girls, but I don't think they wanted to be here. So then we play in the State Cup first round, and we get half of, well, 90% of their GA team, which is Girls Academy, which is another level of whatever. And so also they bring in all these girls, and now they're talking about even bringing in more girls. So I don't get it. I don't, how do you not come to a state cup? And what I don't get is the parents who are picking up the tab. If my kid plays on the team, the state cup team, and you get the state cup, and they're like, "Yeah, you're not good enough anymore," I would have a very large problem with that.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I think if we were to take our elite and play it against the team that showed up that we beat 14-0, it's probably a fairly competitive game, in my opinion. I mean, it's so in the end, I don't think the clubs are really that different. I mean, and when you look at GA, just Girls Academy, I don't think the Girls Academy and ECNL are considered to be the two elite leagues nationally, but I don't really think that they're that much different from us. I mean, I see Paul mentioned that Galaxy are 6-0 in Girls Academy right now. They're killing everybody 7-0, 9-0. Now, to be fair and completely transparent, Galaxy's better than us. I think their best team is better than us. So that means we're probably winning some games, maybe losing some games in Girls Academy. So that being said, we're very competitive with the SC Wave. So I think we could probably hold our own in Girls Academy. I wouldn't say that we, without doing it, that we'd be really good, but I think we hold our own. But yeah, this idea that you're going to be part of a league, and then you're also going to be part of another league, and then you're going to send your crap team to this one sometimes, and then your good team to the other, and then sometimes you're going to send your good team, this is being the Wave, to play in our league. It doesn't make much sense to me. I don't understand why you'd be in one league and be terrible unless you have two good, like the Galaxy have two good teams and they can kind of compete in both. And I understand that. So it makes sense. But if you're the Wave and one of your teams is not competitive and the other is, like, why would you be in two leagues? You're not doing yourself any service. You might as well take the one girls and drop them down to a state level league and just, whatever, have them play that. And if you all want to play together, that's fine. But I don't understand why you would bother to compete in one league where you're not even competitive at all.
And I don't get how you tell people, you're good enough for X, but you're not good enough for Y. And then to still be able to tell those same people that we need you to travel all over the Midwest. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, yeah, I
Yeah,
think
you
one of
still
our
have to do
clubs,
all the same things, but you don't
yeah,
get to be competitive. Yeah.
yeah. So Eric says we can compete, and I totally agree with that. We're going to play when we go to National Pro here in Florida. We're going to play some of the best teams. I think we play a team from Georgia. I'd have to go back and look, but some of the top ranked teams in their state. So we are going to see some of the best. Now, we did get lucky. We don't have Galaxy uh, in our bracket, but the benefit of Galaxy, they're in southwestern Chicagoland. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
their network of kids is, what is it, 10
Oh yeah,
times
they're
ours? I mean, it is a monster.
correct.
So if you're up in whereverville and you want to play the best, you just you got to travel, and then they send you all over the country, and you have to be willing to do that. Now, at the end of the
Correct.
day, does that get? It comes back to what, right? Does it get you a scholarship? Does it get you on the field? There are girls that will come out of that are phenomenal, but is the money worth it at the end of the day?
Yeah. It's a fair question. And then the other thing that we're hearing rumor on is that if FC Wave can pull off the win against us, they're saying they're not even potentially. The rumor is they're not even going to go down to regionals, which I just think is a real slap in the face. I mean, if that's true, that is a unbelievable slap in the face, not only to the league, but to everybody else that competed. Because if you're going to then specifically not send your team or send your best team, you're going to send that team that we beat 14-0 down to regionals to high level quality teams. That team's going to get absolutely throttled and it's going to make our league look absolutely terrible. And I think that's,
Yep.
I don't even know how our league would be okay with that. Honestly, if that's what you're going to do, don't even bother showing up. Get out. There's no reason you should be in this league if you're going to send that team down, and then take your team and send your good team and send them off into some GA competition. I just think that's a real disservice to the league, and it's a slap in the face to everybody to come in and try to win state cups so that you can just be state champion, but then not even take that team to regionals. Just to me, that's kind of crappy, if true. Again, if that's the truth.
Yeah, and we're talking about Wave. I think we are a more talented team than the Wave. I think we will come out on top. Um, but I don't know another sport like this. Like I thought about baseball because there's a ton of different baseball leagues, but it comes down to Legion ball in the summer. Um, and then there's travel ball and all things. But I just soccer changes like the wind. Um,
Yeah.
we were in Premier 4, I think, when I joined, and then we ended up climbing the ladder, Premier 1, and then also we were in Clubby Club, and now we're in E64, and now our club is doing very well in E64. E64 means I don't know, but
Your guess is as good as mine.
we're playing in the Midwest, so we play a lot of Michigan teams, and we're playing their third best team. So
Right.
our club is running through this. So, but the problem that I think is then you go to E64 National League, which anytime you mention the word national,
Yep.
I don't know how far you travel, right? And can you maintain this group or a group of kids that are willing to go that far in the bigger clubs? When you're picking from maybe 400 08s where we're picking from 100 or less than that, it's hard to find people that are willing to go all in.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think though that we've seen, if we're going to do a national league, which we're it doesn't mean us or just as a club. If we're going to do a national team, I think you have to have 20 plus kids, just because inevitably some people can't make it, and not just 20 kids, not just 20 bodies. You got to have 20 that are at that level, because inevitably, to your point, some kids can't make it, some kids can't travel, schedule conflicts. There's things that come up. You got to have a deep bench to be able to go to Detroit or go to Indianapolis or go to Ohio and have these showcases. Not everybody can make it, so you got to have bodies that can actually show up and be there. And I think that's one of the things that's been a little bit of a struggle this year is like we just don't quite have enough bodies. If we had 5 more people on the team, I think we have a lot less stress about some of these issues, because it's tough, right? That's not a knock on anybody. It's tough when you're trying to go to far away tournaments and people have lives and other things that happen and get in the way. It's nobody's fault. It is what it is.
Yeah, I do think the conversation has to be held before tryouts with people that the understanding is X at this level, Y at this level. I think you need commitment if you're going to spend the effort and the time and the money that we've spent over the years, and then um, you make it so far, and then all of a sudden people kind of we ran into our regionals, right? We lost our goalie. Now we
Yeah.
picked up a player or two that our executive director was able to find, which was helpful. But the girls you went to war with to get there um, aren't there for the battle, right? When you make it down there. Now Eric just said, "What do you do when 20 show up?" That is a big deal. Everybody yells at the coach anyway, so probably gonna get yelled at more.
Well, listen, if you have 20 on the team, it's similar to what you've got with SC Wave or Galaxy. They say, hey, this is who's available, this is who's traveling. I mean, I at some level they don't bring. They didn't have 38 girls on the sideline when we played Galaxy. They didn't have 38 girls on the sideline. They made it clear ahead of time based on schedule and who's available, who's playing and who's not. And I think at some level that almost has to happen, and and I get that parents aren't going to like that, right? Because everybody wants to play, everybody wants to be on it, but at a high level competitive soccer, you're going to have to understand that that's the way it rolls. And that's what you signed up for. That's a hard sell. I'm not saying that's an easy sell, but if you're going to be really competitive at a high level, you probably are going to have those types of conversations, and you're going to have that type of decisions made to be able to have a really quality team. I'm sure the Galaxy, everybody who signed up, understands what that means. Now, again, you said it earlier, they have a huge pool to pull from that we do not have. So that puts us at an instant disadvantage, because if you tell somebody, hey, you're not going to play there, say, screw you, I'm going to go over this club, right? So I get that, but at the same level, there has to be a way to thread that needle of being able to get more people onto a team, especially if you're going to go at a high level. Otherwise, you're going to struggle to be competitive because you're never going to have the numbers.
Well, I think winning cures a lot of that, because I think if you win, I think, well, I would hope it would start at some point that if this club is winning, that people will not be driving by our park to go to Milwaukee to play. You know,
Yeah.
I think the gap between ECNL and the rest of the world is shrinking. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
think colleges were only doing ECNL. I think we're finding out um, that there's other ways, and I think it'll be a great episode to talk about, what is the best way to get recruited. I've tried to get uh, a woman that wrote a book on. She says we need 100 of these bad boys. So um, we'll get her one day, but it's all about, how do you recruit your kid now with the use of social media, where maybe ECNL doesn't become that. Um, I did some research on all the girls that are coming out of Wisconsin for a club and where they're going. I think only two of them are going to play big time soccer elsewhere. One was Kentucky, and otherwise it was Northern Illinois, Wisconsin schools, and I don't even remember. Like, I think one or two were at UW Madison. Uh, yeah,
Are you
Marquette.
saying statewide?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, just girls that have signed. There was something online about it. And our club is starting to really gain traction. We had the O6s are their list of uh, colleges is impressive. There's D1, there's D2, there's D3. Um, Girls will have a lot of success. So, I think that's helping our club. And I think what's happening is colleges are starting to pay attention to us. So how far are our kids looking to go? My youngest, if she goes, it'll be for academics. If she wants to go to a big time Notre Dame or something, would she be able to play soccer? I don't know, you know, but is it worth traveling all over the world to stay in the Midwest? That's where I kind of shake my head. I don't think it is.
Yeah. Well, correct. I agree with you, because we've had this conversation before. I think if your goal is just to play at a collegiate level, that can be done um, almost by just walking on. I mean, you look at some of the programs that are, maybe if you just find a D3 program that's a little down, you could probably walk on if you're in our premier, or sorry, in our even our elite club players. We'd probably just walk right on to some of those schools, and they would be very competitive. They may not start right away, but they'd be very competitive. It just depends on what level you want to play at.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I don't think there'll ever be a right or wrong answer. I think parents and kids in sports feel, you look at kids today, we used to show up, and I get this is back in the dirt age, but you didn't buy a helmet, you didn't buy anything. You showed up and you grabbed a helmet out of the bag, or in football they gave you a helmet. And now, how many kids show up on your football team with their own helmets and with their own pads and everything? And I think, trust me, we're right there with them. But you buy your kid everything to try to advance their career, when really it comes down to just getting out in the park and learning the game.
Yeah. No, that is very true. Um, yeah, I mean, Eric brings up the good question. Maybe this is a conversation we could have. I'd like to put a little thought into it. Like, what is that number for a team? We just talked about a little bit, but that might be one that we want to ponder for a little bit and come back to it. What is a good number for a soccer team? I don't know what that answer is. I mean, I love the idea of, when I think about our high school team, we've talked about it internal. We would love to have a number that is at least 30 because it allows us to have a JV team that's you have a decent amount of for starters on JV, and you have a decent amount, and then you have some girls that can kind of flex both ways. I mean, that's at a bare minimum. It'd be really nice to have like 36, because then you could have subs for each and starters for each. But yeah, for club level, I mean, what is a good number? I mean, it's a good question. I like it. I'd have to think about that one a little bit.
I do believe this, and this is not my idea. But you have like, okay, let's take our soccer club, right? We have the premier, and then there's elite, and you have, let's say, 15 girls on the elite team. You have 4 girls that practice with elite, and then you have 15 girls on the premier team. But those 4 girls can go up or down.
Mm-hmm.
You have the availability to pull them into a game, and those 4 girls can change. Let's say and I think you have to have you're always got to have the stride to make girls better and want to fight. If you can't, you want to show that, so they work hard. But I think that's an option that is out there where, and this would be about practicing together. And that's, we have 3 campuses. We're a big club, but having 3 campuses, I think sometimes is a deterrent because you don't get to practice. Your premier and elite don't practice together.
Mm-hmm.
So, and but then again, I do constantly move girls up and down, and it just creates, I'm sure, a headache for people. I mean, I don't like to, I don't like to yell at people at work. The last thing I would like to do is tell a girl, "Hey, you really gave her hell, but we're gonna throw you back down."
Yeah. No, that'd be a tough conversation, and yeah, but I like what you're saying. So essentially, you're saying you have 2 starting squads, or is it starting plus more, and then 4 or 5 go back and forth? So you're saying like, let's say 15, 16 girls, and then 4 go back and forth. So you're talking
Yeah,
like
I don't know the
34
number,
girls.
right? If it's 14 and then 4, yeah, something of that nature. But let's say we'd have had that extra 4 that would practice with us and got time on the premier level or elite level, whatever the second level is. And then when we went to Detroit, we needed girls. We'd had girls that had kind of
Yeah,
practice with us, but you have to have parents buy into that. You have to have parents buy in that, hey, your daughter's not or your son's not quite good enough for that level, but we're going to try to get them there, so we need them to practice.
yeah. I
And
do like the idea
it's
of having full team practice where you can actually compete against each other as a team. That's hard from if you have a team that's maybe not quite as talented because they're probably not going to come out on the winning end as often. But I mean, they always say, we always said in football, iron sharpens iron, right? This idea of if you can try to get competitive teams that can play against each other, and inevitably, I think that team that might be your not as talented team eventually is probably going to start to improve and become better if they're having to play against a better team every day, and they're going to start to make each other better eventually, and it breeds a good competition.
Plus, I always think when you practice with the same girls or boys, you get a sense that we're really good. But when you practice up, we've practiced and we've scrimmaged the sevens, we've scrimmaged the 06s. It kind of puts you where you're not necessarily living high on the hog. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to. So if you're on the elite premier team and you play against the elite team or the first team, you go from I think we're a really good team to wow, we got to work.
Right.
And it does set the table. But with a club our size, it's very logistically difficult to sometimes do. We travel,
Totally
both of us
agree.
travel down to Appleton, and there are people that just they're not into it that much, right? They might just say, if we're not practicing in the pier, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah. No, it looks like we've convinced Eric, so we're good. It doesn't matter. Our job is
Yeah.
done here.
So that's the nice thing of what we do, right? We talk and then we throw it on him and say, get it done, or we're gonna
Right.
probably talk bad about you.
And listen, I think you agree with this as well. It's very easy to sit here and say all this. The logistics of actually making this happen, very, very difficult to do because you have a lot of moving parts, a lot of personalities, a lot of people involved, and that's always easier said than done. Like almost anything in life, you can always say it. It's hard to do it, but you know, I obviously people are working to try to improve things all the time, and that is definitely noticed and definitely appreciated. So you keep trying to make things better. We'll just sit here and continue to complain like we do best.
And our club is every day taking strides to get better. Our club is in a better position than it was last year.
For
We
sure.
picked up
Yep.
a great opportunity by we now offer indoor training in Howard and in
Yep.
Appleton, and Eric he's got some people on staff that are working unbelievably well at filling that up, and I think that'll be a huge advantage because it's training off of practice. It's getting
Yep.
better on the side, and that's how teams and kids get better. Because at practice you only get so much time. So yeah,
Yeah, and I
I don't
think,
know.
you know, obviously we facilitated the whole thing because we interviewed Mackenzie a long time ago. So I'm just curious, like, who we're going to interview next that the club is going to buy out. So,
Yeah, I mean,
you know,
if they have their eye on somebody, we could really bring it in. I mean, we could probably lay
that's right.
the groundwork for a purchase. Do we get a
Exactly.
share? Like, do we each get a certificate, one share?
Oh, I'm sure somewhere. I'm sure there's a name. Our name's on a share somewhere. I don't know where, but somewhere.
Right. All right. I'm pretty excited to get that. That's pretty
Me
amazing.
too. So we've actually kind of danced around this as well. But do you want to play the clip from Carly Lloyd, the state of U.S. soccer?
Yeah, kind of. A
Yeah.
good friend of mine sent me a video the other day that I thought was really interesting, and I sent it over to Jeremy. We're going to try to play it, but it's Carly Lloyd's take on the youth movement of girls soccer.
Yeah, and fair, full disclosure, if this doesn't work, sorry, we're literally trying this on the fly, so you know, bear with us. But I'm going to share the screen, and let's see if we can get this up here. I tried to make it a little bit bigger, so hopefully that'll work. All right, so let's try this here.
Can't hear it. Can you hear it?
Can you?
No.
All right, so you can't hear it. That's exciting. All right.
So let's try to get it up. We'll try to get it up on the Facebook page of our
Yeah.
of the podcast this week. But it talks about ECNL, and it talks about the youth soccer being all about winning and not development, and how it's hurting the USA team for talent wise. They're not developing players, and it's an interesting take from her, who had gone through it with that group of women that won everything. I mean, our women's team used to be unstoppable, and she's
Hmm.
saying now the kind of drive's not there, the grit's not there to win. It's more about other issues. So it's an interesting take.
Well, I mean, not only that, but if you compound or you couple this with what happened in men's soccer on the U.S. side, not when they were in, I think they were in France. Remember where the guy was like complaining about playing, like the parents were actually complaining about playing time to the coach at the U.S. national level, and it's like, are you kidding me? We're at the World Cup, and we've got parents getting involved with the coach about playing time, and you see some of this now. She's talking about it on the women's side. And it's like, okay, there's where there's a little bit of smoke, there's obviously some fire, and there's some issues here. As parents, right? We're causing some problems within the state of the game, and then there's some serious developmental things that we need to tackle within U.S. soccer that maybe is holding us back a little bit on advancing the game and advancing us being competitive on a national level or world level. Sorry.
Yeah, and plus you're pricing out what percentage are you repricing out of youth sports today, right? I mean, you're not able to go to the park and play. When I was little, we played Little League baseball at our local park. I don't know what it cost, but I guarantee it wasn't a ton. They had helmets, they brought bats. I brought my glove. Nowadays, just like hockey and football and baseball, we're pricing out, or what level or what percentage of kids are we pricing out? And those kids could be the best players we've ever seen,
Hmm.
but they don't have the
Yeah.
means or the funds to travel to go to national pro at the whim and do all this. Where so money takes over.
Yeah. Yeah, and at some level, I understand the money thing taking over. I mean, there's part of me that wishes that wasn't the way it is, but I do understand why that happens. But it is interesting to me that, I don't know, some of these games are not super complicated, but it seems like the cost is still pretty heavy for some of these. I mean, I'm not even going to talk about um, Wisconsin United. We look at just in our backyard, the club that's here, I would consider to be a very like a lower level club, and I'm not trying to say anything bad about our local club, but it's still pretty expensive to get involved because there are a lot of costs with the field maintenances. There's a lot of costs with, and you think about it, you're like, all you need is a ball, really, some balls and cleats, and you could go out and play. But there's a lot of costs that go along with putting that game on. Just having the fields and the complex alone is expensive, just from the taxes and the maintenance and the mowing and the fertilizing and the lining, and I mean it never ends, right? So you'd think a game that would be fairly easy barrier of entry cost wise can get pretty expensive pretty quick, and that's, yeah, to your point, it kind of can cut people out at times.
Yeah, it's amazing with our three campuses that we're able to keep the costs where they are. I mean, I don't think I think Howard, it's a public field, so they've dedicated it to soccer and baseball. So we have our ability here. De Pere is also Southwest Park. That's a park that I don't know if we necessarily pay for that. And then you have Shields, which we take care of, but there's another board that oversees that. So we're quite lucky in that state. But we haven't adventured into private land. We haven't adventured into turf. Um, all of a sudden you're throwing $1.2 million at a turf field. Now it gets crazy, right? And you start to need sponsors and multiple big time donors. And if I'd have won the Powerball at $100 billion, whatever I was going to win, I was going to share a little bit. I was going to share maybe $5 grand. I mean, to be honest with you, something nice. Um, but
The
you need
Brasto
big money
Field.
to, yeah, it'd be amazing, wouldn't it? Rastillo, French Canadian. But you need a lot of money to do field. And Elmbrook just got a brand new turf field. So if you play, I was told if you play in some of these higher leagues, you need turf.
Yeah, because of the constraints of
To,
weather.
yep, yep. So our advantage is the state cup is we play on grass. A lot of teams come in here and they don't play on grass anymore. So that's an advantage for us. And I'd rather have my kid playing on grass fields than turf field. I think there's less injury. I think there's a lot that goes into a grass field for the better of um, the players.
Yeah. It's interesting that they're requiring turf when at the national, like at the FIFA level, they don't even allow turf.
Yeah, and then they want to go when World Cup comes. They want to play on grass fields. But did you hear a lot of some what the San Diego's no, the Los Angeles Chargers Stadium? They are not going to hold the World Cup because they don't want to make modifications to their stadium.
Hmm. It doesn't surprise me. I mean, but
Yeah,
I see now a big push in professional sports to move back towards grass. So I love to hear that. I mean, I think that's a good thing, but at the youth level, I understand why turf is wanted because of its durability and because of the lack of maintenance, and there's a lot of things it takes off the club. So I understand that, but man, I like grass. I love that we play on grass.
yeah, and the turf's getting better, right? I mean, it's not like the old days with the Houston Astrodome where it was like asphalt and then there was that thin layer of Menards fake grass.
The
I mean,
carpet, the
the
that got your
carpet,
rug
yeah.
burned.
It's so I think, they built a brand new stadium down in Chilton that I walked down, I talked to the company that built it, and they're building them right. It's trenched out, it's able to drain really well. The sun hits it and it melts. I mean, otherwise, do you guys have is your soccer field that you use for Smash, is that grass?
Yeah, it is grass. That might change this. Well, I shouldn't say change, but some of our games this spring may be on turf because of a new agreement with the university, and we need turf to be able to get started. I mean, we need a space. But right now we play on grass, so a couple of those games may end up being on turf early in the season just because the complex isn't open. But yeah, right now most of our games are on grass. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
and,
mean,
and you can get it on it, right? I mean, Bayport's got football, baseball, softball. You
yep.
know, uh, as Dennis mentioned, Preble, which is a Green Bay school, finally got their high school stadium, which it needed to be. It's kind of lower, it's kind of lower than the road, and it's a beautiful, beautiful stadium. So hopefully that can drive sports up. I know their boys soccer team has a really good shot at making it all the way down to state. So hopefully they do. Um, but you've got to get out there earlier and start
Yeah,
practicing because you can only practice someone. I'm in a gym. Gym
correct.
soccer's terrible.
Well, it's brutal. So no, I like I said, I get it, and especially when you don't have the ability. I mean, you look at. I just remember going to the Packers in when normally grass doesn't grow, and you go into the stadium. I remember I was there for an event, and like they have those big. The whole field is covered with lights that grow the grass, right? You can't do that in a high school. You just don't have the ability to maintain the grass the way that it's needed. So I understand why turf makes its rears up. I would love to see though. We talked about this on one of our shows. There's this new turf that um, instead of the asphalt or the not asphalt the rubber pellets. I got asphalt on there because you said asphalt and got in trouble. But the rubber pellets that instead of having those pellets, they actually use sand and like organic fibers, or not organic, but natural fibers, and I would love to see that happen just because I do think that there's some concerns with the rubber pellets, but you know, hopefully that can start to take over and maybe move the rubber pellets out and you get these natural fibers in there. That'd be kind of cool, along with the AstroTurf or the Sport
Right.
Turf, I should say.
But like, okay, my friend Scott's on from San Francisco. He was a tennis player. Tried to look like Andre Agassi all these years. He had the hair, had the glasses, and he just said, we should move tennis courts to grass, which is great in theory, but there's only so much money to go around. I mean, so I think you got to give it to the football and the baseball kids. You can't, and the soccer kids. You can't be spending it on all the sports like tennis. Just want to say that. Just go play
Yes.
at the park.
Hey, I don't think we're recording anymore.
I got it up there. 48-17.
Well, I'm not. I don't know. Something's not. It says that my computer had an issue. So, anyways, hopefully people can still see us. That's great. But yeah, I know I'm with you. I mean, it's um, you do the best you can. I mean, it is what it is when it comes to the fields. So hopefully people can still see us.
Yeah, on Facebook they can.
Okay.
Are those black? You said they're trying to get away from those black pellets.
Yeah, there's some new fields, and I remember we looked at this that use like a sand and then like a natural fiber to fill in instead of the pellet, and apparently that kind of alleviates some of the concerns of, you know, the chemicals and things that are um, in the rubber pellets.
Because when they did that turf down in Appleton on the indoor field, it was a massive amount of black pellets that they put on those things. Tons.
So yeah, it's ungodly the amount that they put in. It's crazy. I remember when they did our fields over here. It was I think it was probably 50 or 60 of these massive, like they're 4 or 5 feet around, and then they're like 8 feet tall, and they're full of rubber pellets, and they dump all those on the field. It's pretty crazy. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a lot.
And Dennis is right. You end up going home with half of them in your shoes,
Yes,
in your uniform, and they just cause a problem.
it's super exciting. People love it. You would never want to lose those because those are like the best.
So what? How do you take out 52,000 ton of black pellets out of a field to replace it?
Well, that's the thing. I don't think you do replace it. It's when you like if you update the field or you change to a new field or you build a new field, that's when you would do it. It's not you can't once it's in, you can't change it out.
More referendums.
More referendums, baby. It's only
Yes,
money.
love it.
It's only money.
We here in our area wasted $190 million referendum on education. Like, what are we
Crazy.
doing? Like,
What
that
are
would
we
have been a
doing?
perfect amount of money to build a new indoor facility.
Yes, as Max says, friend of the show, you can shop back it out. There you go.
I mean, if lacrosse isn't doing anything, get them out there.
That's right. Yeah. So I don't know. It's we keep coming back to that field thing, but I love the grass. I don't know. There's just something about the grass that's nice. So
Hands down, hands down. So, no, the good thing is all three of our clubs are grass. So if you're out there and you want to join a real club, come play with us.
there you
Are we
go.
sponsored? Are we sponsored by our club?
No, they don't want
No,
anything
we
to
didn't
do
get
with
any.
us.
They haven't sent us any money. I know that.
Personally, I think they probably want to be done with us. We complain too much.
They don't have any control. Like, we run our own show here. This is us. Sorry, fellas, if you're listening, Eric and that, but we are being very kind.
That's right.
We have topics.
We do. But I'm sitting over here, Toby. You need to come up with something to talk about for a little bit because I literally, it says that it's not recording here, and I don't know how to stop it now because usually there's a little button that says end, and right now it just says record. So if I push that button, it's going to start us over. I have no idea what's happening, but it's still working with
That's right.
Facebook.
That's all we
So
need.
when we might have to just do this all night because I have no idea how to end it.
We're gonna find some more topics.
I don't even know how long we're going at this point because the little timer went away. Everything's gone. It says that we're not even recording.
We're at 52:42.
Why is it not showing it for me? I'm supposed to be the guy that's in control of this stuff. I don't know what's happening.
You know, if I'm in control, we're in trouble.
This thing has gone off the rails. It is bad.
But I do want, if you're listening, if you're gonna listen, or if you're on right now, we play at 11:30 on Saturday. Come on down, or you come back to the Judging Bouncing Balls Facebook page. We do broadcast all our games, and you get another hour and a half of me and you and Joe
Mhm.
helping out, and resident Jake on the calls.
In case
Hopefully,
something goes haywire.
you know, I thought our reffing was a struggle last week, but then again, I don't know a lot of the rules, so it's hard to say that it was too bad. But we did get a yellow card, and the girl that hurt one of our players did not. And I did go back and listen to some of our game, and I must have used egregious a lot. I was really pumping that out there.
Yeah, that's a big word, and I'm
Yeah.
sure you know what it means, so that's good. But yes, we used it a lot. That is true.
Yeah. Well, I felt it needed to be. I felt we were getting hosed, shafted, and even some of our parents were barking at the refs a little bit, which
A
we
little
do
bit.
not condone. Not condone.
No,
I did not. Right. I did not get yelled at this game. I did not get a talking to from any of the refs.
it's pretty good.
You did not accost me by me saying something stupid. I was very happy with how Sunday went.
Yeah, it was good. It was good, especially with the dub.
Well, that
Uh,
if we'd have lost, I'd have probably thrown some bombs out there that have got us in trouble. But Is what it is. Are we covered by the FCC, or are we part of that, or no? This is all streaming, so there's no governmental rule.
No, they don't. They don't worry about that. I mean, technically, we could. And I will say, this is that last podcast. We had a few swear words that we normally try to, keep it
That
kid
was
friendly.
my friend
No,
Sam.
actually, one of them was me too, because I wasn't
What?
thinking about it. I forgot it was a hot mic, and then I was like, "Ooh, I just said a naughty word." So apologies to all the kids. Yes, we need to be better, Rod.
If you're having your kid listen to this, I think it's great. I think your kid can learn a lot.
Correct. But
Maybe
also, you
we
might
should
want to
do a meet and
reevaluate your
greet.
life.
Can we do a meet and greet? You think we could sell anything out? Like, you think we could go to a bar and be like, "Hey, come and watch us do the podcast and sign some autographs"? I don't think
Maybe.
so,
I have a
but I
feeling
think it'd be
that we have
great.
we have 12 listeners right now, and I think that they probably all know us.
You don't think they want to just get an autograph?
I don't think so. I don't think they're
That's
interested in
sad.
our signature.
That's sad.
I know.
Be better, Rod. So, just so everybody, like, the Be Better Rod is the thing that my wife knows. I don't know. I forget how she knows it, but the head ref at that ref soccer, his name is Rod, and we were playing De Pere in the regional or the sectionals, to move on to the sectional finals, and she's like, "Hey, I know Rod." And Rod was out there refing his butt off. Well, pretty soon the group we were with, Fall being one of them, and a couple others, we start yelling, "Be better, Rod!" And Be Better Rod now has stuck. The next thing you know, the student section found out about Rod, and they were yelling, "Be better, Rod!" They were yelling.
Poor
So it
Rod.
kind of took off like wildfire. So anytime you get a little frustrated with somebody, you just tell them, be better, Rod.
I hope Rod's still refing. I mean, he might be thinking about that, like contemplating life choices at this point. He might have ruined this poor guy's career. He had dreams of being like a FIFA World Cup ref, and now he's like at home. Not sure if he wants to do it anymore.
You know, I can't feel sad for everybody. I just can't do it. I got my people that I feel bad for, and Rod didn't make the list.
Rod didn't make the cut. Poor Rod. I'm
So
sorry, Rod.
we do joke a lot about Be Better, Rod. Or if something happens and person did something, you just tell them, Rod, be better. Every one of us could be a little better,
Agreed.
especially Rod.
Especially Rod. All right. Well, that's good. So, do you have
That's
any buttons on the bottom in case we do want to end this? Do you have a button that says end?
I gotta leave. I got a leave button.
Oh, ooh, no, that's not the one. Is there one over to the right or left of it?
Uh, nope.
Oh boy. Well, this is going to be exciting. So, if you want to see how we get out of this show, you can hang on. But I think that pretty much does it for tonight, correct?
Yeah, yeah. We're at an hour. I think it was a great show. We had quite a few people join in. We approved, hit like. I don't even know if it matters anymore, right? Remember, we had to get
Oh,
so many YouTubers,
it always
but
matters.
like the page, like the Facebook page, or share it.
Yeah, that's right. And
And then
maybe
if you,
stick around to see what happens here when we try to end the show because we have no idea what we're doing. We're in unprecedented territory.
yeah, and if you see our executive director Eric, tell him how much this show means to the club and how much people we bring in, and see if he'll sponsor the show.
There you go. All right. Excellent. Well, you have a good night, Toby. I'm gonna see if we can try to end this thing. I'm gonna hit the record button. I don't know what's gonna happen.
All
Says
right.
someone
Well, it's
else
been
is
a
already
pleasure. Hey,
recording on this account. That's exciting.
11:20. Jump on the Facebook page, Judging Bouncy Balls, if you want to watch and listen to our game on Saturday, the State Cup Championship, '08 Loons versus SC. Who cares? And or come on down. It's in Appleton at Shields Park, free parking. Um, so pretty exciting.
Perfect. Feel free to just hang on while we try to figure out how to end this thing, because I have no idea. I just hit the button to try to do it, and it says that someone else is recording. So I don't know what that means. You know what I might try to do? Maybe we hit leave and end the session, and then we're gonna have to jump back on to upload it. But I don't know what it's not uploading because there's nothing recording. It already says that our recording's done.
I got 99% uploading. I tell
I
you.
don't know what's happening right now. This is not good.
See, okay, hold up. Do you see who just texted on? Is Coach Drew, the coach of the
Uh-oh.
08, about to be state champions, hopefully. And he says, "Be better, Rod." Shirts.
Smart. That's Drew?
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. All right. I like his
Toot, toot.
username.
Yeah.
Two toots and a wave.
Yeah. We should put
All right.
LFG on the side of the shirt. All right, we got to go.
Ooh. All right. Sounds good.
Oh, see ya. Bye.